10 dangerous countries. Many nations still suffer, especially those torn by war, poverty, racial strife. UN reports over 97% of Afghans still below poverty. First half 2023, 17,000 Russians reached southern border seeking asylum. In February 2023 alone, over 300,000 Congolese were driven from home. Yet these alarming numbers still are only the tip of the iceberg of global suffering and peril. 10th, Central African Republic has a long coup tradition today. Central African Republic, Africa's coup state, has seen a dozen military takeovers since 1960, swinging between systems. Attempted coups and mutinies are countless. In a warlord-fractured country, coup groups of faiths and races fight over land, gold, diamonds, sometimes wiping out towns. 80% of land is held by coup groups. Nation splinters, a nation in crisis, years of unrest, dead everywhere, livelihoods shattered. World Bank, Central Africa 2019, $468, 70% below poverty. Chronic deficits mean massive foreign aid needed yearly. UN, nearly half need aid. 2.4 million now face hunger. October 1st, 2020, CR had 660K displaced, 630K refugees abroad. Humanitarian aid still faces severe funding gaps. $270 million of $550 million need. 9th place, Somalia. Since its government fell, Somalia has faced civil war, turmoil, and yearly fighting. 60-plus African extremist groups, including Al-Shabaab, still ravage Somalia with attacks, robberies, raids. Foreign tourists are often kidnapped for ransom. Security is dire. Election set for February 8, 2021, keeps delayed amid disputes, fueling deeper political stalemate and clashes. If stability is Somalia's door, God shut even the windows. After 6 dry seasons, Somalia endures a historic drought, water scarcity, hunger, uprooting. To ease Somalia's crisis, UN and partners keep sending aid. UN says $1 billion aid needed now here. If Somalia declares famine, more funds may enter. Yet Somalia's government hesitates, fearing the move could strengthen extremist influence. 8th, Russia. Western sanctions and lower oil prices worsen poverty recently. Rostat data. 2019, 18.1 million Russians fell below subsistence minimum, 12.3%, 2.7 million more than 2012. High poverty levels threaten social stability. Russian Interior Ministry says 1.9 million crimes occurred nationwide before 2018. Notably, 51.7% of cases involved taking others' property, theft, robbery. Meanwhile, Russia teams with gangsters. Local gangs rule. Some Russian officials are linked to playing both sides. At their peak, they ruled at home. Moscow has worse police corruption. They respond only when lives are at risk, never prevent trouble. In Moscow report a death threat, police won't take your complaint. Police may act only when your life's truly threatened. But then, it might be too late. Internal chaos and the Ukraine conflict worsened tensions. Many fled, fearing for their lives. In 2023's first half, 17,000 Russians sought asylum. US, Canada, UK, Australia. Travel warnings for Russia. Foreigners in Russia risk detention, prison, or political leverage. 7th. South Sudan. July 9, 2011. South Sudan became youngest, Africa's 54th. But many here have known nothing but war. Since independence from Sudan, this land's faced conflict. So far, hundreds thousands dead, millions now displaced. Meanwhile, floods hit South Sudan. Floods recede in dry season. South Sudan hasn't won? South Sudan suffers worst flooding. 40 years. About 47,700 kilometers squared remain underwater, not receding. UNHCR says may mean lasting climate change. Lasting displacement? This flood impacted nearly 8 million people. Highest number ever recorded. Stricken areas. Food, water run out. Power fails. Disasters. Conflict continue. And made things worse. More families must decide to leave home, cross borders, and seek safety. By 2023, UN expects 9.4 million need aid. 2.8 face gender-based violence. Number 6. Iraq. Recently, as US-led troops withdrew and ISIS crumbled, Iraq was briefly forgotten by the world. For 20 years, Mideast nation bred terror, crime graph. UK NGO's Iraq Incident Database shows Iraq averaged about 3,400 attacks yearly, 2003 to 2021. In Iraq, nearly 10 attacks strike daily. Each kills about 4 innocent civilians. Also, Iraq War left Iraq and Middle East politically very complex. Post-war sectarian strife and rival interests hinder Iraq's stability. World Bank. Iraq GDP PC fell 10,356 to 4,157. In June, UNICEF warned conflict and COVID put 4.5 million Iraqis at poverty risk, mostly children. About 1 in 2 children risk losing rights to school, health, homes, money. Climate change is drying Tigris and Euphrates. They may stop by 2040. Lower flow increases sewage and industrial pollutant concentration. UN data. 90% Iraq's rivers polluted. Thousands sick yearly from sewage. By 2035, Iraq meets 15% water needs. Violence and displacement may only worsen ahead. Still. Number 5. DR Congo. In 1960s, DRC won independence from Belgium. Yet, colonial neglect of schools and administration sparked major crises. Post-independence, politics became power struggles. Divisions. DR Congo is highly diverse, with 200+ ethnic groups, including Mongo, Uba, Congo, Kasai, and Ngambi. They have long fought over power and resources. DRC also mines copper, cobalt, diamonds, rare earths, abundant minerals attracted outside interference, worsening the civil war. CNN says over 40 armed groups operate in Congo. ISIS-linked allied democratic forces often attack villages. Fighting and unrest have driven many residents from home. UN reports 1/3 of Congo, 27.3 million, face food insecurity. Nearly 7 million people are in a severe hunger crisis. Thus, Congo has the world's most people needing urgent relief today. Fourth, Ukraine. USSR collapse. Ukraine inherited nukes, third largest, but gave them up for Western support. Decision unexpectedly sparked Ukraine's issues. Over a year into the Russia-Ukraine war, 40,000 plus civilians dead, millions already displaced. Russian strikes destroyed towns Ukraine-wide. Once hopeful Ukraine now faces brutal war beyond imagined danger levels. Germany's 50,000 ordered prosthetics exposed the world's cruelty. Frontline media. Kiev charities. Hospitals use 20,000 plus prosthetics. Experts estimate casualties from war raids. Prosthetics. Landmines. Firefights. 4% need prosthetics. Casualties near 500K. 150K dead. 350K injured. Last fall, Ukraine mobilized, growing 250,000 to 1 million. Casualty data implies 150,000 will never return. Of 350,000 lightly wounded, maybe half can. So far, 6 Ukrainian cities destroyed, including Mariupol, bigger than Miami. Most fled, 100,000. Still trapped there. In a restless world, peace is still dearest wealth, everyone's shared hope. Third, Syria. Syrian civil war, ongoing since 2011, involves government, rebels, ISIS, Kurds, intervention. Inspired by Arab Spring, Syrians protested in cities, demanding Assad resign, reform politics, end repression, corruption. Initially, troops crushed protesters. Casualties rose. Defectors and civilians formed Free Syrian Army, fighting government troops. Protests escalated. Rebels fought government troops, sparking multi-faction chaos. Main rebel forces include Kurdish-led SDF, Turkish-backed Free Syrian Army, and ISIS. Militias control regional territory, battling government forces for years. After civil war erupted, over 500,000 died, many from illegal chemical attacks, accidental deaths. Millions were displaced. Nearly 7 million fled Syria. War shattered Syria's infrastructure severely. Economic collapse worsened Syria's refugee crisis. Post-war, 60% can't afford food by 2023. Syria's war hits year 13. Violence persists. No end yet. Second, Yemen. In 1990, North-South Yemen unified as Yemen. Hopes for peace. Prosperity soured. Regional and factional tensions never eased. They worsened over time, sparking civil war. In Yemen, government troops, Houthis, and terrorists clash nationwide, killing tens of thousands, displacing millions. Factional fighting wrecked Yemen's oil industry, leaving economy near collapse. Late in the war, many saw this as an Iran-Saudi proxy. Since 2015, Saudi-led Arab coalition has attacked Yemen. The U.S. sold them billions in arms, many used against civilians too. Hundreds of thousands died in combat. More died famine. 2023, talks began. Crisis severe. UN. Over 24 million in Yemen need aid. 14 million lack food. 20 million safe water. 19 million sanitation, 17 million healthcare. UN calls Yemen's humanitarian crisis world's worst. Number 1. Afghanistan. Afghanistan is seen as Earth's most dangerous country. Since 1980s, Afghanistan has been a war hotspot. Afghanistan's holy war lasted 40 years. Even in the 21st century, it topped terrorism danger rankings 4 years. 2021, U.S. left Afghanistan, ending 20-year war. Afghanistan. 97% live in poverty. U.S. withdrawal let Taliban retake power again. Taliban return worsened things further. For local women, a sudden, crushing blow. No denying. Under the former government, Afghan women advanced. 2000. Afghan girls schooling near zero. 2012. 85% plus enrolled. Kabul. Women joined men at university, learning outside online. More women do skilled work. 2021. The Afghan parliament was 27% women. After returning, Taliban barred women from leaving home, expelled girls from school, banned work across Afghanistan. Women protested, demanding Taliban restore rights to education, work, and governance participation. UN report. 1/3 Afghan women married before 18. In 2015, 46.1% of Afghan women 15 to 49 face spouse attacks yearly. 2016, 46.1% Afghan women got med care. 2017, 62 per 1,000 girls. Teen moms. Behind these stats, Afghan women's generational suffering. Floods are out. Quakes worsen disaster. Afghanistan is a disaster in every way, from society to environment. The most intense global event now is the Palestine-Israel conflict, but it's too sensitive to discuss further. Interested? Follow reputable news channels. That's all for this video today. Which of today's 10 most dangerous countries stood out most? Tell us below.